Access to Democracy is made possible by donations from the following organizations. Thomson Reuters, a global company with expertise and insight to unravel complex situations in the areas of law, tax, compliance, government, and media. Their worldwide network of journalists and editors keep customers up to speed on relevant global events. Thomson Reuters, the Answer Company. The Division Championship Minnesota Twins are looking to go all the way to the World Series in 2024. Bolstered by inspirational shortstop Carlos Correa, a healthy Brian Buxton, and rookie phenom Royce Lewis, plus a pitching staff led by Pablo Lopez and an outstanding bullpen featuring Johan Duran, the Twins are the best bargain in the major leagues, and Target Field is the best venue in baseball. Sheridan Dulas & Kins, PA, a family and criminal defense law firm, has been serving clients in Dakota County and throughout Minnesota for over 40 years. Ranked a Tier 1 Best Law Firm by U.S. News and World Report every year since 2009, Sheridan Dulas & Kins are here to help you in your most difficult life circumstances. Established in 2007, 45th Parallel Spirits was among the first 50 micro-distilleries in the United States. Based in New Richmond, Wisconsin, all aspects of production occur at our facility. If you're interested in visiting and learning more about the 45th Parallel Distillery, please check our website and plan a visit to tour our facility and taste our spirits. Truestone Financial, with locations in Minnesota and Wisconsin, has proudly served its members since 1939. Truestone engages, educates, and supports its members to ensure they have the tools to empower their financial well-being. Truestone Financial, your neighborhood credit union. Learn more at truestone.org.
This is Access to Democracy. Thank you for joining us. Delighted to have you with us today. I'm Bill Raker, your host for this edition of the program. Today we're going to be talking about defying dementia through music. Now that is an interesting title, Defying Dementia Through Music. And here to talk with us about that is Eyleen Braaten, who's the Executive Director of Giving Voice Chorus. Eyleen, welcome to Access to Democracy.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you tell us about what your organization does and how successful it is and how it works, actually. So Eyleen, let's start with, what is Giving Voice Chorus?
Sure. Well, that's a great question. So Giving Voice is an innovative nonprofit that's based here in the Twin Cities that is dedicated to spreading joy, empowerment, well-being for people living with Alzheimer's and other dementias and their care partners through choral singing. And it's an organization that was founded 10 years ago on emerging research that said that music and the brain had a dynamic and important relationship for people living with dementia. There were many that could harness a lot of those fantastic emotional memories and sense of self through music. And so the co-founders thought, well, what better tool than the universal instrument of your voice to bring people together to create that well-being? So a choir was born. And very quickly, they realized that the ability to bring this group together to enjoy music, to celebrate what people are just naturally capable of doing, singing together, had so many other benefits. So, our traditional choir experience of singing together can also be a place to find friendship, can be a place to find belonging, and for a population that is really marginalized, people that are diagnosed with dementia and their care partners, they're often told what they can't do. You go in to get a doctor's diagnosis and they immediately tell you what this diagnosis has done to change you. We focus on what you can do. So our nonprofit not only operates now 5 choirs here in the Twin Cities, but we're dedicated to leading a global movement to have a choir-like Giving Voice in every single community, because we know that the need is great. So we're really, at this stage, learning from the 10 years of experience we have so that we can meet this really great need by inspiring choruses everywhere.
So this organization was born and developed right here in Minnesota. Is that what
Yep.
you're saying? And now you have a global mission to get a chorus like this established in any and every community that wants one.
Absolutely.
Most communities, we should say, need one probably, right?
Yep.
So this chorus, this choir that you form, the members of this singing group all have some form and some degree of dementia. Is that correct?
Well, the choir is made up of the community that would support people living with dementia. So
Okay,
we like to use
okay.
the word living with because many people, not just the person with the diagnosis, are effectively living with what times.
The caregivers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So our choir, we call them all singers. You come to us as you are, and we meet you wherever you need to be met. So we have people with a diagnosis, we have their care partners, which are often spouses or other family members, or maybe just a neighbor or a friend. But they commit to coming every week, and they are a part of our chorus, which has weekly rehearsals that lead up to a public performance every semester. And then we also have community volunteers. So those are people that that come in to really support the environment that we seek to create. So they're there to sing, but most importantly, they're there to make sure that if people need any extra help or they need someone to just kind of support them on their musical journey, they can do that. We don't require people to audition. We take singers of all types. We have many people that have been singing their entire lives because we like to say that Minnesota is the land of 10,000 choirs. But we also have people where it's new to them. So we might have a volunteer that would sit next to a singer and just maybe help them with the music. So our choir is really a community choir. And when we perform concerts, you look up at the stage and you can't tell who has dementia and who doesn't because we're all singers.
That's beautiful. That is just remarkable. So maybe you mentioned it, but when did this organization get started? When did you have your first chorus?
The first chorus was founded in 2014 by Marge Strushko and Mary Leonard, who are both Twin Cities natives that have a relationship to Alzheimer's and a commitment to the work of this type of innovative nonprofit. They saw a problem and wanted to find a way to help solve it. And so that choir was really the pilot project for our organization to realize if this is something that is sustainable and scalable. So after a few years of operating choruses here in the Twin Cities, Giving Voice decided that our initiative would be to create a toolkit, to create resources, to create an opportunity to really inspire other communities to take this work on, and that spread fairly quickly. We have 14 choruses in the state of Minnesota, and then over 70 across the U.S.
70 across the U.S. Impressive numbers for just 10 years of work that you've been engaged in. So you've explained it's a nonprofit. You have a board of directors that oversee the organization and then a professional staff. Can you tell us a little bit about the board and the staff that support this work?
Absolutely. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit that has a board of directors that is not only the strategic leaders and visionaries of the work, but they also are very instrumental in the direction of the organization. So they provide absolute necessary leadership and have really helped us grow. We also have a National Advisory Council, which is made up of people across the country that are focused on areas of what we would call neuro arts. So people like to use that word where you're really combining music and arts and the brain to provide healthy brain growth. So we have a National Advisory Council that also supports our work. We have staff and contractors. Our artistic team is very, very, very important to the work that we do, and they are all specially trained. So not only are they fantastic at the work they do artistically, but they also have a extensive training in what it means to be a dementia-friendly, to create a dementia-friendly environment, and we also make sure to adapt all of our musical tools and resources to make sure that we're providing an environment that's very hospitable to people of all cognitive levels. So we have our music that is adapted, so even if you're just reading lyrics, you can follow along. So our artistic team is very important, and then of course we have volunteers, and so the work that we do couldn't be possible without the volunteers that support our rehearsals week in and week out, whether it's singing with someone or just bringing the cookies and treats. We really rely on those volunteers.
Well, I want to remind our viewers that we have contact information for the organization scrolling across the bottom of your screen. So if you're interested in contacting them and getting some questions answered, offering support, volunteering, you have an opportunity to do that. So Eyleen, there's a science behind what you're doing here, isn't there? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's amazing to think that music can do so much and not even be aware, really, conscious of what it's doing, right?
Yeah. The science, so, in 2014 when we started, there was just a lot of emerging research. It was kind of new, and one of the articles that inspired our founders was this article in the Wall Street Journal that said belting the sound of music, helps boost the brains of people living with Alzheimer's, and that really caught their eye, thinking, oh, the sound of music, something that is, inspiring to many people. And so, looking at the research, what we know is that enjoying music is good for all brains. What we know even further is that participating in music helps increase your emotional connection, your ability to improve mood, increase cognition. And actively participating in music with others is just an even continual relationship. So if you think about the brain being lit up by different types of music participation, when you are actively singing and participating in one of our choirs, not only do you have all of that wonderful brain activity, but you're actually sharing that relationship with someone else, which is quite spectacular. There's a study that I like to cite that showed that when you're singing next to someone, you actually sync heartbeats. And I found that to be very, very
Now,
sweet.
is that scientific as well?
It's very scientific. It is. It's breathing patterns. It's all of the things.
Yeah,
I like to think that
sure.
it's more than just science. But
And the rhythm of the music, also, you're sharing that with the people that are in the chorus, yeah?
yeah, so it provides an opportunity for people to experience improved mood, heightened cognition, and we find that lasts a lot longer than just the rehearsals. But taking it back from a scientific approach just to a human aspect, I think that we can all understand and relate to how music can just make us feel better, and how oftentimes, maybe when we're in a situation where you just need a little boost, playing a familiar song, it feels good, and it can take you back to an emotional memory, because your ability, where emotional memory is stored is very close to where music memory is stored in the brain. Mm-hmm. So I think that's one of the reasons why hearing a song that was played at your wedding, or listening to a lullaby that maybe you sang your kids when they were little, that brings back that emotional memory, and that's really what we're seeking to provide to all of our singers, is an opportunity to be brought back to a space where you have those fun, wonderful memories, and you're sharing them with other people. So it is a science, but I also like to think that it's a very human need, and that's what we seek to do, is just meet people at their humanness, what they need. But I will say, though, our singers learn new songs as well.
Well, I want to go there, Eyleen. I want to learn what kind of music they like to sing.
Yeah, so we tend to stay within genres that most of our singers can recall or relate to.
No
for
high
most
C
of our
notes, maybe.
music.
Huh?
Right. We do actually have a dementia-friendly adaptation for our music, and they say for females you don't sustain higher than an F. So yeah, For sure, but the genres of music that we try to bring to our choruses, we pick a theme every semester. This semester is called Journey Through the Decades, and we choose songs that our singers will hopefully relate to. Some of the favorites. We always like to take singer input, so they were able to choose some of the songs. But we also do introduce new work into our repertoire. So
You mean new creations?
new creations. We've been very fortunate to have wonderful composers put together work specifically for our choral singers that's about their stories.
Amazing.
A big part of our concerts is sharing the stories of our singers because having dementia is the least interesting thing about any of our singers. So being able to share their stories through our concerts is very important. So before every song, we'll have someone come up and introduce it, and they'll tell the audience a little bit about themselves, perhaps about something they think of the song, and every time we do that, we're changing stigma around what it means to live with dementia.
Yeah.
And so we really like to choose songs that our singers can relate to, and then they can share a little piece of themselves as we talk about it.
That helps to bring them out of the shell that
Absolutely.
they may be existing in without having that experience of participating in the chorus. How many people are in a typical chorus? Is it a small number, large number?
It's a wide variety. I would say our choruses across the country range anywhere from 20 people to 85 or 90. We have a chorus in Austin, Texas that I just got an email from this morning, and they're getting to their total limit at about 90 people.
That's pretty good size.
It's a pretty good size chorus. In the Twin Cities here, we have over 200 singers in our choruses, and we found that kind of the magic number is somewhere between 50 and 60 feels pretty manageable. But we always welcome any singers to join. So,
Well, you talked about programs that are semester in length, so to speak. And when you use the word semester, I think academics. And so do people graduate from one chorus level to another?
That's a great question. I would say everyone always improves, but we tend to choose times of year where we can have our celebratory community performances. So we tend to do one in December around the holidays, and then we do one in spring.
Holiday theme, yeah, right?
We used to take summers off, but a few years into our work, our singers said, dementia doesn't really take a break in the summer, so we think we should sing all year. So we now sing all year, but do have our concerts around those semester timelines. But yes.
How long do people stay in the program? I mean, you've been in existence 10 years. Do you have anyone that's been singing for 10 years?
We do. We have a few founding members that are still singing with us, which is wonderful. Part of the challenge of this work is to understand how to allow people to carry two emotions in their heart at once. So thinking through a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or other dementia, it is a fatal diagnosis. Yeah. It is life-changing to have to address and accept that. But there is joy to be had when you live well with any diagnosis. So we really encourage our choruses to support those multiple emotions that we can hold at the same time. So we lose singers frequently.
Sure.
We oftentimes have people sing with us until weeks before their passing because it is something that's so accessible. And the sooner that they get involved, the longer they can participate because it does become a part of just their natural, rhythm of life. People will wake up and say, "Is today the day we sing?"
They look forward to it.
They look forward to it. So I will say there really isn't an average length of participation. It's just as long as they're still finding joy and benefit, we want them to sing. But again, the earlier in the diagnosis that people can start participating, the better. So we have people that are just getting a diagnosis of MCI, which is mild cognitive impairment, which is oftentimes the first diagnosis before you progress. And then again, we have people that sing with us until weeks before they're passing, So we want to, again, make sure that we can celebrate and acknowledge that we're creating a really wonderful, joyful environment for people that are dealing with a fatal diagnosis.
So personally, I don't play any musical instrument. I play the radio, and I can't sing. But that wouldn't preclude me from coming into the chorus, would it? I don't need to know anything about music. I don't have to have voice experience, voice lessons, anything like that.
Nope.
Just show up.
Just show up.
Have the courage to come in.
Absolutely. It's one of the wonderful things about singing in a chorus is that the voices can blend together. So we have some phenomenal singers, and we have people that are just coming out of their shell as singers, and yeah, that is certainly not a reason to not try. It's great. We often have people that when they start, perhaps it's a husband and wife couple, and one will jump right in and want to sing, and the other one will say, I'll just sit on the side today. I'll just watch, and we'll say, okay, well here's a songbook just in case you want to follow along. And it usually takes just a rehearsal or two for them to jump in and join, because it really is a joyful experience.
So are these performances a cappella, or do they have instruments that accompany their singing?
It depends on the choir you're coming to visit.
Okay.
So in the Twin Cities, we are focused on making sure that we create no barriers for diverse communities or other groups that really could benefit from this work. So we have multiple, traditional choirs that are predominantly, they're accompanied by an accompanist on the piano, and we might have a special vocalist here or there. But we also have our Sabios Cantores chorus, which is a fully Spanish-speaking chorus that we have in partnership with two fantastic nonprofits here in the Twin Cities. And they are generally guitar or a cappella or a variety of instruments, because they have over 9 countries represented in one group of singers. So they're bringing a wide variety of cultural backgrounds and experiences to the music. So we had a wonderful concert celebrating our 10-year anniversary at Orchestra Hall. We had over 1,000 people attend, and we had all of our singers on stage, and that really demonstrated the variety of this work. So our Sabios Cantores singers had drums and various percussion and pipes and woodwind pipes, and so it just kind of depends on what you're seeing. There's a Giving Voice inspired chorus in St. Paul through Walker West Music School, and they're really rooted in Black gospel music. So you might go and see them, and that might look a little different. The music tends to be not in a book where you're turning pages. The song is over when the song is over and they're done singing.
Right.
So it depends on who you see, but we really try to make sure that the work can be supported with what the community is used to or is hoping to experience to make it really, really special for them.
So there are no cultural barriers or ethnic barriers or anything like that anyone should be concerned about, right?
We are trying to make sure that this is available to all communities. That is a big part of our mission.
Mm-hmm. You have solo performances?
Often we do have a soloist, if they're willing, but most of our work is done as a group. And we really let singers shine when they talk about their personal stories.
Sure.
In
Yeah.
the concerts.
Yeah. Where do you see this organization going? I mean, you explained the global vision that you have and the effort that it takes to take an organization like this globally. What's the vision?
Well, right now, we've really leaned into claiming the work that we're doing, meaning this does work. This is something that people can do now to bring them joy, we feel that it is our responsibility to grow this as in a scalable way. So rather than starting one choir here and one choir there, we want to start many choirs. So the future for Giving Voice in 2025 is reaching to rural and outstate Minnesota, We have a goal of 25 new choruses in this year in partnership with our rural and outstate communities. So through the relationships that we've built and all of the resources and tools that we provide as an organization, we are really seeking to demonstrate that this work does fit in communities that might have other barriers, because rural and outstate communities have a huge need and have a different landscape than what we see here in the Twin Cities. So that's what I can tell you is in store for 2025, is really making this broad sweep across our great state of Minnesota to really impact the rural population.
Let's go just a little bit deeper in that in the 3 minutes or so that we have left, Eyleen. So if a community or a group of people wants to start a course, what are the steps? What do they need to do? How do they go about doing that?
Fantastic question. We are here to help. So if someone is interested in starting a course in their community, the first step would just be going to our website and clicking on the tab that says, I want to start a chorus, because we are here to, our mission and vision is to inspire and equip communities to do this. So if you are inspired, then we are ready to equip you. We have a Giving Voice toolkit that you can download that walks you through all of the process of how to find a host organization, or what does it mean to, to start a chorus like this. And then we'll walk you through the process. We do free technical assistance, and you would be a member of our Giving Voice network, which means that you have many other choruses that can support you and guide you in your journey, because we've learned that collaborative learning is the way to go. We want to be a student and a teacher, and we want to make sure that we're connecting all of the work that's out there so that people can learn from each other and really feel that they have a strong base and support from all types of people doing this work so that they can do the best work possible.
You make this sound so interesting and so much fun and so beneficial to everyone who participates, irrespective of the roles. Maybe they're a caregiver, maybe they have some form of dementia, they're singing in the choir, they're an artistic director, they're a volunteer. You just make it sound like it's a terrific organization that people should be lining up to learn about, if not get involved with,
it's
right?
the easiest part of my job. Why do I?
We have 1 minute left, so tell us, Eyleen, what do you want to leave our viewers with?
The most important thing is that this is work that everybody has a place in. So I'm the executive director of the organization, and I believe strongly that I'm a steward of the mission and vision, but I also sing with my dad. My dad has dementia, and it has made my relationship with him stronger. It has made his days more joyful. And I have seen how this type of work impacts everybody, whether you just come to a concert and enjoy our work for one afternoon a year, whether you read about us and are inspired, or whether you participate in work here in the Twin Cities, or run your own chorus in Tallahassee, Florida. Whatever it is, there's a place for everybody in this work, because the more that you embrace the way music can impact people living with dementia and Alzheimer's, the more you'll be connected to your human-centered approach, and you're going to change the narrative, and that's really what we seek to do.
Terrific message, Eyleen. Our guest on Access to Democracy has been Eyleen Braaten, who is the Executive Director of Giving Voice Chorus. Eyleen, thank you for joining us on Access to Democracy. Thank you for sharing the story, the experience, and letting our viewers know about what your organization does.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.